There is a specific moment that happens to most men somewhere in their 40s. It does not announce itself. It is not dramatic. It happens quietly, usually in a shop, usually while looking at something they used to want, and it sounds something like this. I do not need anyone to know what I am wearing. That shift, from wanting to be seen in the right brands to simply wanting to wear the right things, is one of the most significant style changes a man makes in his life. And most men make it without anyone telling them it was coming. The brands on this list are the ones waiting on the other side of that shift. Not because they are expensive, not because they have the right name, because they understand something about what a man over 40 actually needs from his clothing, and they have built their entire identity around delivering exactly that. 5 brands, the ones that the men who stopped trying to impress anyone discovered and never left. Brand 5, COS. COS, Collection of Style, was built on a single premise, that clothing design should start with shape and drape rather than decoration and branding. Every COS piece begins with a question about proportion. How does this fall? What does the silhouette do when the man wearing it moves? Where does the hem land, and what does that do to the visual line of the body? For a man over 40, this design philosophy is not an abstract preference. It is practically useful. COS pieces work because of their shape, which means they continue working regardless of whatever trend is happening around them. A COS shirt bought in 2019 reads as current in 2026 because it was never designed to be current. It was designed to be correct. The specific pieces worth knowing from COS. They're relaxed fit heavyweight shirts in natural tones, cream, soft sand, pale charcoal, that use fabric weights above what most high street brands attempt. Merino knitwear, which uses a finer gauge than the market average. And their tailored trousers, which have a cleaner break and a more considered cut than anything at the price point. COS is the brand for a man who has understood that the most interesting thing about a piece of clothing is what it does, not what it says. Brand 4, Reiss. Reiss occupies a specific position in men's clothing that most brands miss entirely. The gap between high street and genuine luxury. Below luxury pricing, above high street construction. And for a man over 40 who needs smart tailoring for real professional and social occasions, meetings, dinners, travel, occasions where the outfit needs to communicate authority, this position is exactly where the most useful brand in his wardrobe sits. What separates Reiss from other brands in the same price bracket is the construction standard on their tailoring. Their jackets use a half-canvas construction, a lining technique that allows the jacket to drape naturally with the body rather than holding a stiff, predetermined shape. Over time, a half-canvas jacket molds to the specific body wearing it, which is why a well-worn Reiss blazer reads differently than a new one. It has developed a relationship with the man inside it. The specific Reiss pieces that earn their place in a 40-plus wardrobe. They're unstructured wool blazers in navy and charcoal, versatile enough for smart casual, considered enough for professional settings. They're merino crew necks, which have a weight and a finish that exceeds what the price suggests. And they're tailored trousers, which have a clean line that holds through a full day of wear without the knee bagging that cheaper construction produces within hours. Reiss is the brand for the man who needs his clothes to work in real situations, not just look correct on a hanger. Brand 3, Sunspel. Sunspel was founded in 1860 in Long Eaton, England. They have been making fine knitwear and cotton garments for 166 years. They invented the modern t-shirt, and they have spent those 166 years doing essentially one thing, making the plain basics of a man's wardrobe in the finest fabric available at each price point, with no interest in logo, trend, or seasonal variation. This is not a heritage story told for marketing purposes. Sunspel's product is genuinely different because of their material sourcing. Their finest t-shirts are made from Sea Island cotton, a long staple cotton grown in the West Indies that produces a fiber twice the length of standard cotton. Longer fibers mean a smoother, denser, more durable yarn. A Sunspel Sea Island t-shirt feels like a premium fabric and behaves like one, maintaining its structure, its surface, and its shape through years of washing that would destroy a standard cotton tee. For a man over 40 building a wardrobe of pieces that last, the Sunspel t-shirt, the Sunspel polo, the Sunspel underwear, these are the foundations. The pieces that nobody ever sees the label of and everybody notices the quality of. The pieces that a man replaces every 5 years rather than every 5 months. Sunspel is the brand for the man who has realized that the plain things are the hardest things to get right and has started taking them seriously. 2 more brands, and the last one has been doing this for 242 years. Before we get there, which of these first 3 have you encountered before? Drop it in the comments. I read every reply. Brand 2, Muji. Muji was founded in Japan in 1980 on a philosophy so specific and so counterintuitive that it has never been widely understood outside the people who discovered it on their own terms. The name translates loosely to no brand quality goods. The entire company was built to answer one question. What would products look like if all the effort and cost that goes into branding, packaging, and marketing were redirected entirely into the quality of the product itself? The result is clothing that has no external identity whatsoever and an internal quality that consistently exceeds what the price would suggest. Muji's wool and cashmere pieces use genuine natural fibers at a price point that makes comparable quality from branded alternatives look like a significant premium for the label rather than the fabric. For a man over 40 who has arrived at the position this video describes, the man who no longer needs anyone to know what he is wearing, Muji is the brand that had been waiting for him the entire time. It has no logo to offer, no status signal, no recognizable aesthetic that announces itself from across a room. It offers only the thing itself, made correctly, priced honestly, designed to disappear into the wardrobe and simply perform. Muji is not a brand in the conventional sense. It is the result of removing everything that is not the product and finding out what remains. For a man over 40, what remains is exactly enough. Brand 1, John Smedley. John Smedley, founded in 1784, operating continuously in the same Derbyshire mill for 242 years. To understand why this brand belongs at the top of this list, not as the most famous, not as the most recognizable, but as the most genuinely worth knowing, requires understanding one thing about what John Smedley actually does. They knit. That is it. That is the entire company. 242 years of refinement in a single skill, the machine knitting of fine natural fibers into garments of extraordinary quality. No diversification into trainers, no seasonal statement collections, no brand collaborations that generate headlines, just the ongoing, uninterrupted perfection of a single craft. The specific thing that separates a John Smedley merino from every other merino at any price point is the gauge. Gauge in knitting refers to the number of stitches per inch. The finer the gauge, the denser and smoother the surface of the finished fabric. John Smedley works at 30 gauge. Standard knitwear runs at 12 to 18. The difference in the finished surface, the smoothness, the drape, the way the fabric moves, is not marginal. It is categorical. A John Smedley crewneck in midnight navy or warm charcoal, worn with dark wool trousers and a white Oxford shirt underneath. This is the outfit that a man wears when he has completely stopped performing for the room. When what he puts on in the morning is a private decision made entirely for himself, based entirely on quality, with no interest in external recognition. John Smedley is the brand that proves the principle behind this entire video, that the most expensive thing a man can wear is not the most recognizable thing. It is the thing that required 242 years of continuous practice to get right, and that communicates its quality only to the people who have developed the patience to notice. When a man stops needing anyone to know what he is wearing, he starts being able to wear things like this. And that is not a limitation. That is the arrival. 5 brands. Cause, the brand that starts with shape and asks what decoration is actually for, and builds every piece around the answer. Reiss, the tailoring that works in real situations rather than just reading correctly on a hanger, at a price point that does not require a justification. Sunspel, 166 years of getting the plain things right, which turn out to be the hardest things to get right, using materials that most brands at twice the price do not attempt. Muji, the answer to the question of what remains when everything unnecessary is removed. And John Smedley, 242 years of a single craft, practiced without interruption in a single place, at a standard that the commercial knitwear industry has never found a reason to match, because matching it would require caring about something other than margin. None of these brands need to be on the outside of the garment to be worth wearing. That is the entire point of each of them. And that is the point of the moment this video described at the beginning. The moment when a man stops needing the outside world to read what he has chosen and starts choosing for himself alone. That moment is not the end of something. It is where the real dressing starts. If this gave you something useful, hit the like button. And if dressing better after 40 actually matters to you, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Stay sharp.